very quickly, a difficult question for you. If this was Joe Biden who'd done this and tanked global markets out of nowhere, not because of a reaction to a crisis, but entirely through a deliberate decision to slap unprecedented tariffs on the entire planet, would you be so enthusiastic, or would you be calling it one of the biggest disasters in modern presidential history?
What's up, y'all? Welcome back. So, yes, this is a very good question. I'm glad he asks Clay this question because this is what MAGA has been doing. Everything is amazing. Everything is great. Wajahat is about to go off on all of these conservatives. She needs to stop. Whatever's going on, she needs to drink some coffee, pretend she doesn't look good. I'm sorry. But Wajahat is going to take down the Piers Morgan panel of MAGA, MAGA tools. They're tools. Everything is good now. If this was Joe Biden, they would be going off. He's right. He's absolutely right. Let's go ahead and get into it.
It's a good question, Piers, and I think let's go to look at what Joe Biden did. Really, this is mostly about China, right? Because China has flouted American global commerce and global commerce in general by deciding that they're going to be making products in different countries, whether it's Vietnam, whether it's Cambodia, to avoid having to deal with the larger issues of fair trade, right? They're moving all their shipments into Mexico, for instance, to take advantage of the fact that there aren't substantial tariffs inside of the North American continent. What did Joe Biden do with China? He left in place the Trump tariffs that everybody told us were unprecedented on China. It's one of the few things that he didn't change at all. So no, I wouldn't trust Joe Biden to have any idea what he's doing because everything Biden touched got worse during his 4 years. I do think, given his history in the marketplace in America and in understanding China taking advantage of us, and given the fact that he just won a popular vote, you have to trust Trump on this. I trust Trump in a way, frankly, that I would not trust Biden. And to your point, I think in your opening, the stock market itself is a measuring device that is not always accurate in the short term. And, my advice to everybody out there, I don't know about you, Piers, I buy S&P 500 index funds. And I put them away, and every 10 years they're going to double on average because I believe in American exceptionalism and also that we're going to continue to lead the globe. And I think that's what Trump is trying to ensure. But no doubt at all, I wouldn't trust Joe Biden on anything because everything Joe Biden touched, whether it was a withdrawal from Afghanistan, whether it was the southern border, whether it was violent crime in America, whether it was inflation. Remember, he took it up to 9%. I'll point out that all the people panicking over this.
Relax, Clay. Okay, so the thing is about Biden keeping Trump's tariffs. I'm not against tariffs. Tariffs before, they worked. Come on, 100 and something percent of tariff. I'm not saying that, look, sometimes you got to go hard or go home. I get it. But that's not what this is about. This is about just escalating to China. And a lot of people aren't going to say it. But after I knew, all right, fine. Nobody called me and told me, but I got the feeling. I said, wait a minute. China put a halt on BlackRock buying the Panama Canal? Something's going to happen. And I hate when I think these things and I don't say them out loud. Because guess what? Something's happening. Now we're talking about China.
Stock market now didn't panic in any degree when the stock market didn't move in any way and actually was down for the first 2 years of Joe Biden's presidency. I trust Trump on the economy, and I think he's going to get this worked out.
American homeowners are at risk of a growing real estate scam, which
for you and Clay, it's going to be a bestseller with MAGA. It's called Go Broke Before You Go Woke. You don't have to give me any of the money. You're going to need it, especially as we're waking up today and seeing the stock market go down. Asian markets are down. S&P is down. Dow Jones is down. Briefly, United States entered a bear market. And then guess what's going up? Prediction for a recession. Goldman Sachs yesterday put it at 45%. The prices of everything is going up. Taxes are going to go up. This is going to be a $6 trillion tax hike on Americans over 1 year, folks. Measles are going up. Measles deaths are going up. Folks, this is why you need competent people. And speaking about China, just today, New York Times came out with an article that said Trump's stupid, no good, reckless, horrible trade war, a unilateral trade war, unilateral tariffs imposed upon our allies. It's making China great again. Chinese exports. We're losing our allies. Japan and South Korea is now talking to China. We just found out today that the EU is planning on retaliation. Canada's planning on retaliation, so they're not going to bend the knee. Donald Trump has no idea how tariffs work. How do I know? I listen to him. He has no idea how the trade deficit works. He thinks a trade deficit means that the other country is screwing you, right? So if you look at that beer chart of tariffs he put on, they came up with some formula, inserted that formula on all our allies. Now there's a trade war. There's panic. Jamie Dimon, of all people, came out today. He's panicked. Goldman Sachs is panicked. Bill Ackman, huge Trump supporter, billionaire, he's panicked. MAGA just lost the host of CNBC Market. Pete Navarro was on there. He's panicked, right? Americans are losing their 401ks. Americans cannot afford eggs. In America, folks, right now in 2025, for those who are watching, some Americans are being told to paint potatoes instead of eggs.
Oh my God, her face is, Lord have mercy. I can't even know, because I was going to, help Wajahat out just a little bit. Like, we don't have to exaggerate those. That's the problem, because then you hand the ammo to the other person. If you exaggerate one thing, they'll pick the one thing and then they'll grind into that. Okay, there's no need for that, right? The thing is, yes, I understand Trump's rhetoric. Yeah, okay, whatever. To say that Bill Ackman is concerned about the situation with China's tariffs and everything, no, he was just concerned about like Israel and all the other nations. But remember, there's a 90-day pause that they're not talking about. Also, too, when it comes to stocks, I feel like they're just numbers in the air. I really do. You have to have your assessment skills up. Watch where the ball is going. This is insane.
In 2025 America, because they can't afford eggs. Folks, it's okay to criticize your party. I have criticized Joe Biden on your show for the past year and a half, Pierce. It is okay to criticize Donald Trump. Right now, the world is responding to this chaos. This man has no idea what he's doing. And by the way, you can criticize Biden, but facts matter. Biden, despite his diminished age, diminished capacity, right? In the 4 years that Biden was president, the economy recovered from when Trump...
Okay, no, it didn't. The left and the right do the same thing, because now Benny Johnson is saying, it doesn't hurt to lose money. It costs nothing to lose money. I don't know what that meant. Now this one's going to say the economy grew under Biden. It's not true. People did not feel like it grew under Biden. I'm just trying to see if the smug girl ever talks. What is the point? Oh, I think she's talking here. I just want to see something real quick.
Against this country for decades.
Peers.
Oh my God, peers.
President Trump is trying to do a system that has systematically disadvantaged American workers for decades. I know the critique of America being a country, not a special economic zone, is usually heard in the confines of the immigration debate, but I think it applies to economic policy too. Now, I'm not saying the stock market doesn't matter, but I think to look at that as the only metric or indicator of what's going on with what President Trump is trying to do, I think sort of misses the forest for the trees, especially here in the United States, given that the top 10% of people own, what is it, I think 93% of all equities. Meanwhile, the wages of the working class have absolutely plummeted. And I think to sit here and say that it's actually China who is somehow benefiting this, I'd have to fact check you. I think it's the EU saying that they want to lower their tariffs or at least start negotiations. That's a very important word in all of this. I also think Japan is getting ready to send a delegation over to negotiate those very things. But I think you have to understand the systematic abuse that the Chinese Communist Party has waged against this country for decades. Intellectual property theft, illegal trade subsidies, currency manipulation, exporting their work to other countries because we sanction them directly. That's why this tariff program is so vast, to avoid any loopholes or cutouts for other countries. I know it's nice to maybe pat on the backs of the Wall Street elites who are apoplectic over what's going on in the stock market right now, but the lived experience for America's working class, the status quo, is demonstrably worse and more radical than what you're seeing happen in the stock market right now.
Stop. You're sending Richard into some kind of anaphylactic shock. So, Richard, respond.
It's simple. I'm tired of this nonsense, arrant nonsense about the top elite and the stock market. The reality is, ma'am, the number of people with 401ks, the number of people with IRAs or Roth investment funds over decades that they've put together. My neighbor who has worked all her life to put together a small amount of savings that she can live on for the rest of her life. She's 93 and just seen her savings go down by 15 to 20%. She's not the elite. Now you just tell me, how do you justify this vandalism when it was unnecessary to reach the same goal?
Natalie, respond to that.
Because her
Then I'm gonna come to
401k would
Amy.
have been a lot higher if for the last few decades American politicians had actually prioritized her wages and not overseen NAFTA or China's ascension to the World Trade Organization. You're giving this sort of limited hangout worldview where you think what her 401...
Yeah, she just lost her money yesterday. So you can't see what I'm saying? We're not having a real conversation. And I am a little biased, I know. You know, because there was a lot said here. They've been doing intellectual property theft, whatever. Y'all opened the doors to China back in the 90s, and then they'll say, oh, it was the Democrats. No, the Republicans were a part of it too. Okay? You guys opened the door to China, and now you're mad because they took advantage? I'm confused, right? And I'll tell you this, because there's a lot more I could say. Look, I'm an American. I love my country. That said, if the Chinese have to suffer, these are the type of people who will suffer for the long run. And I don't think we have that kind of grit in us sometimes anymore. I get scared. There's people who won't even talk about certain things out of fear. We'll leave it at that.